They go over to where the window was, and I seen somebody laying in there.
I talked to her Friday. She said she was going home. And that was the last time I talked to her.
She was covered up with a large house coat. She was laying face down on the bed. I touched her, and her body was cold, so I know she was dead.
In June 2007, the small town of Minot, North Dakota, was shaken by a horrible crime. Anita Knutson, a freshman at Minot State University, was found murdered in her apartment. Despite the peacefulness of the town and the close connections within the community, no one had any idea who could have committed such a brutal act. Anita was found in her own bedroom, having been stabbed multiple times, with no clear motive and nothing stolen from her home. The only clue left behind was a bloody knife found in the sink and a slashed screen from her bedroom window. For 15 long years, this case stumped the Minot Police Department. The investigation seemed to hit a dead end after dead end, as detectives interviewed over 40 people and chased down every lead, yet they could not find the killer. The community and Anita's family waited for answers that never came, and it seemed the mystery of who killed Anita Knutson might never be solved. Then, after all those years, a new lead emerged that promised to finally unravel the mystery. This breakthrough re-energized the investigation, giving hope that justice for Anita might finally be within reach. So what exactly happened? To uncover the truth behind Anita Knutson's tragic death, we have to step back to that fateful weekend, examine the relationships that defined her life, and explore the evidence that eventually led to an arrest after years of dead ends. Anita was in the first year of her adventure at Minot State University in North Dakota. A bright-eyed youngster, she was balancing a demanding schedule, studying hard for a degree in elementary education, working shifts at a local hotel, and soaking up college life with a bunch of new friends. Even though Anita had moved away from home, she kept the family ties strong. Her siblings, Anna and Daniel, shared a special bond with her, strengthened by the fact that all three had been adopted when they were young. Life seemed to be on an exciting track until one weekend in June 2007 when a chilling silence fell. Anita, usually quick to share her daily escapades, did not call home. This was odd, and worry quickly started to gnaw at her family's hearts. Her parents tried reaching her, but their calls went unanswered. Her sister Anita's messages remained seen but not replied to. The silence was deafening and out of character for Anita. With worry mounting, her dad decided it was time to check on Anita personally. On June 4th, he made the trip to her apartment, a sense of dread growing with each mile. When he arrived, the first thing he noticed was Anita's car parked right where it should be. His heart might have leapt at this sign of normalcy, but the relief was short-lived. The apartment was locked up tight, silent as a grave. Seeking help from the apartment manager, they unlocked the door, stepping into a scene that would haunt them forever. The apartment was too quiet, eerily still. They moved through the living room, the kitchen, and then to Anita's bedroom door. Nothing could have prepared her father for what he was about to see. Opening the door, he found Anita. She lay motionless, a victim of a brutal attack. The room bore the marks of a fierce struggle. Anita had fought hard. Stab wounds marred her, telling a silent tale of her last desperate moments. In the kitchen sink, a bloody knife was abandoned, left behind by an unknown assailant. Oddly, nothing in the apartment seemed missing, which only deepened the mystery. Outside, beneath Anita's bedroom window, a clue perhaps to the horrific entry. The screen was slashed and lay discarded on the ground. This piece of evidence suggested a violent intrusion, a struggle that ended tragically in the quiet of Anita's own room. The questions began to swirl. Who could have done this? Why Anita? Was it someone she knew or a random act of violence? The peaceful college life had been shattered, and now her family and friends were left grappling with the pain of her loss and the haunting absence of answers. All right, so the discovery was shocking. Anita had been killed early on a Sunday morning, more than a full day before anyone realized she was gone. Her apartment door was securely locked, her car parked just a few yards away. She had been alone that weekend, her roommate away, leaving an eerie silence hanging over the scene. Despite a thorough search, nothing seemed to be missing from the apartment, except for the peace of mind it once held. Near her bedroom window, a slashed screen lay discarded on the ground, a silent witness to the horror that had occurred. This case quickly became a weighty burden for the Minot Police Department, a puzzle wrapped in layers of complexity and dead ends. It was the kind of case that kept detectives up at night, frustration mounting with each passing day. Early on, the police interviewed over 40 people, hoping to find a crack in the case. Leads were pursued with urgency. A maintenance worker seen at the complex that morning, a mysterious man spotted running nearby, even one of Anita's new college friends. Everyone was a potential suspect. As detectives dug deeper, statements accumulated, but no conclusive evidence pointed to any one individual. The possibilities began to narrow down, and 3 suspects stood out. There was Michael Van, a guy who hoped to be more than just friends with Anita, and who had sent her the last text message she ever received. Then there was Marty Annell, the maintenance man whose presence at the apartment complex that day raised eyebrows. Lastly, there was Nicole Thomas, Anita's roommate, who had reportedly sent threatening texts to Anita and even allegedly confessed to the murder during a drunken rant at a party years after the crime. Amid these tangled leads, a digital forensics expert named Eric Devlin stepped in to analyze the text messages exchanged between Anita and the suspects. The communications between Anita and Michael Van showed no signs of bad blood. However, the texts between Anita and her roommate Nicole painted a starkly different picture. These messages revealed an escalating tension between the 2 young women. Initially, back in 2007, Nicole had tried to minimize their differences, but the texts suggested otherwise. One crucial detail that puzzled investigators was Nicole's final text message to Anita, which was sent after Anita was believed to have been killed. Was Nicole truly unaware that Anita was already dead, or was she crafting an alibi, attempting to seem oblivious to the grim reality? As the investigation pressed on, each lead, each interview, each text message added layers to a mystery that seemed as complex as it was tragic. The community watched, waited, and wondered. Who could have committed such a brutal act? And would Minot's quiet streets ever return to normal? Or would the shadow of this unsolved case linger forever? Moving forward, next, detectives were determined to peel back the layers of the crime scene with fresh eyes. The question that haunted their investigation: how did the killer enter and exit the apartment where Anita's life was brutally cut short back in June 2007? The initial clues led to the bedroom window. It was there that they found the screen slashed, a potential entry point for the murderer. Marty Annell, the maintenance man, had explained earlier that he had removed the damaged screen on the day Anita was discovered to repair it. Surprisingly, he claimed he hadn't noticed Anita's body inside. By meticulously recreating the scene, the investigators realized that Annell's account actually held water. From his position, it was entirely possible he hadn't seen inside her room. But as they dug deeper, another revelation came to light. The evidence increasingly suggested that the killer hadn't used the bedroom window to enter or leave at all. The real point of entry seemed to be somewhere more obvious: the front door. The discovery of Anita's body came with a chilling detail. The front door was locked. This wasn't just any lock, but one that required a key to secure it from outside. This detail narrowed down the possibilities significantly. In June 2007, only a few had keys. Anita herself, her roommate, yes, the maintenance man, Marty Annell. Marty Annell was the maintenance man at the complex where Anita lived and had access that few others didn't. Annell himself had died by suicide a year after the murder, a fact that whispered of possible guilt and secrets held too tightly. Rumors swirled that he might have been overwhelmed by remorse over something terrible, perhaps even Anita's murder. However, when detectives probed into his past for motives, they uncovered a different kind of turmoil. Annell's sister revealed a personal tragedy. He had been devastated after learning his long-term girlfriend was unfaithful. His world had crumbled, not because of a crime, but from a broken heart. This revelation shifted the narrative once again. The pieces of the puzzle were slowly coming together, painting a picture of a man consumed by personal grief rather than guilt over a crime he committed. As the investigators stepped back, the shadow cast over Annell as a suspect began to fade. The complexities of human emotions and the secrets of the apartment complex intertwined, leaving the team to wonder, if not Annell, then who? The mystery deepened, and the search for the truth behind Anita's tragic death continued, each clue leading them further into a labyrinth of questions with answers just out of reach. Next, the spotlight shifted dramatically towards Nicole, her former roommate and now a prime suspect in the case. The detectives, determined to unravel the mystery, turned their focus to gathering more information about Nicole's relationship with Anita. It started with an interview with Donna Bieland, a co-worker of Nicole's who had a lot to say. According to Donna, Nicole had been openly critical of Anita for months, their relationship souring to the point of no return. Things escalated tragically after an incident where Nicole's pet fish was killed, an event that pushed their roommate relationship to the brink. Donna remembered advising Nicole bluntly, "You two can't live together." But the most alarming piece of information came after Anita's murder. Donna recounted a chilling comment Nicole made, hinting at a dark secret. "As long as I keep my mouth shut, I'll be fine." This statement alone raised suspicions about what Nicole might be hiding. The investigation deepened with the account of Willie May, who had dated Nicole after Anita's murder. Willie recalled a particularly revealing moment during a house party where Nicole, under the influence and lacking her usual guard, made a shocking confession. She said, "I did it," Willie told the investigators. However, when sober, Nicole refused to repeat the claim, leaving Willie to drop the matter as their relationship eventually fizzled out. Eager to probe further, the investigators arranged a meeting with Nicole, who now went by the name Nicole Rice after getting married. They planned a dual interview strategy, bringing in her parents as well, hoping that cross-examining them simultaneously would expose any inconsistencies more clearly. During the interview, Nicole attempted to minimize her past conflicts with Anita, portraying their disagreements as trivial. However, her account of her whereabouts at the time of Anita's murder kept changing, sending up red flags all over the investigators' radar. When they confronted her about Willie May's account of her drunken confession, Nicole's demeanor shifted dramatically. Overwhelmed, she cut the interview short, stating firmly, "I don't want to talk anymore." Simultaneously, another team of investigators was speaking with Nicole's father, who was adamant about his daughter's innocence, claiming she was being wrongfully accused. Yet, in a telling slip, he inadvertently contradicted Nicole's various accounts of her whereabouts during the crucial time of Anita's murder. Each statement, each recollection was a piece of the puzzle. But Nicole's evasiveness and her father's contradictory comment only muddied the waters further. The investigators were left to wonder the weight of the drunken confession and the tangled web of lies and truth, knowing that the key to solving Anita's murder might very well lie in unraveling the complex relationship between two roommates turned adversaries. After an intense investigation, filled with countless interviews and deep dives into every piece of evidence, the Minot police were ready to make a crucial decision. They had thoroughly investigated Marty Annell and Michael Van, but both were conclusively ruled out as suspects in Anita's murder. This left them with one person who the evidence increasingly points towards, Nicole Rice.
Now, after nearly 15 years of investigating and following up on leads, and the suspect is in custody. At about 3:25 p.m., 34-year-old Nicole Rice was arrested for murder and taken to Ward County Jail. Although most of the detectives who worked the original scene and investigation have retired, we have not forgotten about this case. Detective Carmen Asham and McKaylee Talbot were assigned to take over as the lead investigators. We tried to actively investigate Anita's case for the past few years, and finally, with the help of cold justice, we were able to move forward and regain focus. Due to the resources, logistics, planning, and experts they were able to provide, we were able to obtain an arrest warrant for Nicole Rice.
In March 2022, the case took a decisive turn. Nicole, then 34 years old, was arrested by the Minot police. Charged with murder, a grave AA felony, she was taken into custody and held at the Ward County Jail. The following day, Nicole made her initial court appearance via video from the jail. During this appearance, the judge set her bond at $120,000 cash or a $250,000 surety bond, reflecting the seriousness of the charges against her.
The state of North Dakota versus Nicole Erin Rice. Ms. Rice is charged with murder.
Again, the charge is murder, class AA felony. How do you plead, man? Guilty or not guilty?
Not guilty, Your Honor.
Court will accept your plea of not guilty at this time.
However, the legal battles were just beginning. Nicole's attorney quickly moved to defend his client. He filed a motion to dismiss the murder charge, pointing to a significant error made during Nicole's preliminary hearing in September 2022. The controversy centered around DNA evidence purportedly linking Nicole to the crime. Detective McKaylee Talbot had testified at the hearing, claiming that Nicole's DNA was the only one not ruled out from samples taken from the murder weapon, a knife believed to have been used to kill Anita.
Any of those samples that were sent for comparison, were any of them included, excluded, incapable of being excluded?
All of the male profiles that were sent have been able to be excluded from the profiles developed from the knife. The only profile that cannot be excluded or DNA sample that has been submitted is Nicole's.
Nicole's attorney argued that this statement was false and that the detective had wrongly testified about the DNA results from a 2016 analysis. The case reached a critical juncture when Judge Richard Hagar weighed in on the motion to dismiss. In his ruling, Judge Hagar acknowledged that the statement about Nicole's DNA was made in error. However, he decided that the detective's testimony wasn't solely focused on the DNA evidence, but also discussed various other aspects of the case, including Nicole and Anita's relationship, the locked apartment door, and Nicole's actions. Judge Hagar emphasized that the evidence presented was enough to meet the minimal burden of proof required at a preliminary hearing to establish probable cause. Thus, the motion to dismiss the charge was denied, and the stage was set for a trial. The community of Minot watched closely as the date was set for July 2024. The upcoming trial promised to be a focal point, not only bringing potential closure to a case that had long haunted the town, but also testing the limits of forensic science and legal strategy in determining the truth. The question of whether Nicole was indeed guilty of her former roommate's murder is now set to be answered in the courtroom, with all eyes on what the evidence would reveal about that fateful day Anita was tragically killed. All right, to sum up the whole situation, the story of Anita's tragic death and the ensuing investigation leaves us all awaiting the final verdict. What will the trial reveal? Was Nicole truly behind this heinous crime, or will new evidence come to light? The answers are yet to unfold, and we will be right there to bring you the updates as they happen. Thank you very much for taking the time to watch this video. If you found this story interesting and want to stay updated on the case and more like it, don't forget to subscribe to our channel. Your support helps us keep bringing these stories to light. Click that subscribe button, hit the bell icon for notifications, and share this video with friends who love a good mystery as much as you do. Thank you for watching, and remember to keep questioning, keep searching for truth, because you never know what secrets the next case might reveal. Stay tuned.